Welcome to Nick on Knicks, where your boy N.I.C rants about the most recent Knick game. And today is a somber day. The Knicks lose a heartbreaker 112 to 106 in overtime to force a game 6 in Philadelphia on Thursday against the 76ers. Where do we start? Tough one tonight. I mean, in my lifetime, one of the toughest losses that I have ever seen as a Knick fan. And believe me, there's been a lot, but we had this game. We had this game. We were up by 6 when Deuce hits that shot under a minute to go. Brunson feels the double, gives it to Deuce. Deuce makes the pretty high arcing jump shot from the free throw line. And you feel like right there, all we got to do is not just do some dumb shit and we win the game. And what do we proceed to do? I mean, Mitchell Robinson, I love you. I love you, Mitch. You had a great game. I love the intensity that you brought. You had active hands. You were clearly bothering Embiid to the tune of 9 turnovers. But the foul on Maxey that creates the 4-point play, just out of this world, hard to understand how you don't know at that point. The one thing I cannot do is foul a 3-point shooter. It's the one thing you can't do right there, Mitch. And you're 7 feet tall. Come out there, put your hand straight up. What are you doing jumping in the air? What do you think you're going to do? Block Maxey's 3? Even if you have a possibility of doing that, and Mitch blocks his share of threes, and sometimes does it to guards, and sometimes he does it to guards as skilled as Tyrese Maxey. In this time, in this situation, you cannot, I repeat, you cannot leave your feet right there and give this guy the opportunity to draw the contact and then knock down the 3. And now all of a sudden, it's a 2-point game. And, right then and there, you're like, oh my gosh, all we got to do is not hit a free throw. And guess what? Josh Hart gets fouled. He goes to the line. And it's not just that he missed the first shot. It was a clear gag job. Short arm, just pressure, clearly getting to him. And he puts up that shot. And as soon as it leaves its hand, you know it's short. You know it's short. And he misses the shot. Tyrese Maxey comes down, shoots a ball from the logo, and now it's a tie game and we're going to overtime. Unbelievable. It just doesn't even seem possible that we were able to piss that game away somehow. When Deuce hits that shot, I'm starting to think about, man, wow. I'm thinking about all these positive things about the fact that, Deuce is stepping up when we need him to. The fact that Leon Rose trusted in him. And that was part of the reason we got rid of Quick. And Deuce has showed up in the playoffs more than Quick ever has. I'm thinking all of the good things. We hold Embiid to a night where he struggles from the floor. I mean, Embiid, what did he shoot? 7 of 19. He's got 19 points, 14 rebounds. But overall, he was not affecting the game. And like I said, he had 9 turnovers. He's throwing fireballs at people, getting frustrated. And we have the game right there. We had the game by the balls. And we let it get away. I mean, you got Mitch with maybe the stupidest foul I've ever seen. Mitch regressed to like rookie year Mitch. That was the type of dumb shit he did back then that he's gotten away from. And so he regressed to that. And you have Josh Hart missing the free throw. Josh Hart, who couldn't hit a 3 all game, couldn't get one to fall, was being indecisive. Josh Hart definitely as always, he's going to do things that, you can't necessarily quantify. He did end up with 18 points, which that's even a little bit more than I expected. Shot 7 of 17. He had 9 rebounds, 4 assists, turned the ball over twice, but you gotta hit your free throws. This is the NBA playoffs. when you get fouled at the ends of games, you got to hit your free throws. You missed 2 in a similar spot last game, but it ended up not costing us. Tonight, it did. It did. Because they can't hit that last 3 to tie the game. If he knocks down both, it's still a 2-possession game. We grab the ball, we inbound, we get fouled. More things have to continue to go right for the Sixers for them to be able to end up, taking the game on an OT and eventually winning. Then we get to OT and we go up 5. And then the Sixers scored 9 straight. They scored 9 straight. We have terrible offensive possessions. Jalen Brunson, you had another 40-piece. Jalen Brunson, we would not be anywhere without you. Jalen Brunson, you hit a couple threes in that overtime possession. And we're basically the only offense that we had in OT. But I also got to say, Jalen Brunson, I hated some of the possessions. We had 4 straight possessions where we took a shot early in the shot clock. It seemed if he was hunting threes rather than getting to that mid-range where he's so deadly, or getting all the way to the rim where it seems like he's either going to get fouled or he's going to get a bucket, I don't know, 75, 80% of the time. Instead, he's hunting threes, and I know he hit a couple, but there were other possessions that were not good. And then the possession that ends up being the nail in the coffin with Batum, a guy who's 6'7" directly in front of you, you pull up as if you're going to be able to just rise up and hit a 3 in his face without making any sort of move to get him off balance or anything like that. And then he's right there, and you pass the ball to Isaiah Hartenstein, who is vacating to go to the rim to try to offensive rebound in case you miss, because of course that's what he's doing. He's not expecting the ball to be kicked to him 17, 18 feet away from the basketball as you commit the cardinal sin of passing, shout to my man Clyde, by jumping in the air before the pass. I hated that possession. We were only down by 2 at that point. We did not need a 3. It seemed like a little bit of hero ball from Brunson, which, again, Brunson, you're our fearless leader. You're Captain Clutch, as they say over on Knicks Fan TV. He's our guy. Big body Brunson, like my man Perk says. I love him. The Brunson burner. But in that overtime, and specifically in that play, it seemed like once again he got a little sped up. That floater he missed in the lane, it seemed like he was in between. He didn't know exactly what to do. And it's just, you don't get that many opportunities. It was our first opportunity to close out a game in the Garden since 1999, since 2000. And we had a chance. We had the fans who paid an arm and a leg in the building. We had all the Knick greats. Even Patrick is sitting down there with them courtside, just underneath the basket. And the Garden is going wild. They're ready to celebrate. And we literally give the game away. Talk about fumbling the bag. Come on, man. This is going to be one of those. I'm going to have a tough time sleeping tonight. If you're here with me, I appreciate you. I really, really do. Because you're somewhat of a glutton for punishment, because I will not be consuming probably much any sports talk in the next 48 hours. I guess it's a little bit less than that, 46, 40, 45 hours, because I'm just so disgusted. I'm so disgusted with the way that we pissed that game away. And that's the opposite of what we've done all season. We've been the team that executes down the stretch. In this series even, we've been the team that executes down the stretch, the team that gets it done and makes the play when we need to. And we just totally gave that game away. There's been way too many games this season where we have done some careless shit with the ball or made some silly fouls. But you know what? We still typically find a way to pull it out. And today, in the most important moment of the season, in the most glaring, just picture perfect example of what you don't do when it comes to the end of a game and end of game execution, we did almost everything wrong. That Mitch foul, no one can explain to me what was going through his brain right there, why he decided he wanted to jump. Let him make the 3. The only thing you can't do is give up a 4-point play right there. As long as you don't do that, we're still in a position to be able to close this game down, even if we miss a free throw here or there. I just don't get it. I don't get it, Mitch. I don't get it. And Tibbs is catching some flack for not fouling up 3 with a short amount of time to go. Now, Maxey rushed it up into the front court and he took off from the logo and made a 3. But if you really wanted to foul right there, you foul in the backcourt. Okay. You foul almost immediately. I know typically the thought process is that you want to let a little time go off of the clock before you commit that foul. But with Maxey and the speed that he moves, I think as soon as you get a chance to put some hands on him, you put some hands on him. And I wouldn't tip, I'm not even super critical if that wasn't the strategy. But Tibbs is typically a guy who likes to foul up 3 with, less than 20 seconds or so. So I'm not exactly sure what the game plan was there. If somebody maybe was supposed to foul and didn't, but we did not execute. And that last shot that he hits to send it to overtime, that's a God bless him. Hey, man, if you hit that, good for you. What are we going to do? Hats off to you. But the things that happened leading up to that and the execution in overtime, just piss poor. Piss poor. And now we have to go back down to Philly. And there's been a whole lot of talk about how we invaded Philadelphia for game 4. And, it was basically a 50-50 crowd. It was palpable on the broadcast. Embiid talked about it after the game. I don't know exactly what happens. I don't know if all of a sudden all these Philly fans are going to rush out to, go buy up the tickets that allegedly were still available from the organization, not even on the secondhand market upon game day during games 3 and 4. I don't know if they run out and go buy those. I don't know exactly what happens, but something tells me that the Philadelphia 76ers organization is just somehow, some way going to figure out a way to not let that happen because it was embarrassing. It was embarrassing to that city as sports fan. It had to have been embarrassing to that franchise that they were absolutely overtaken by Knicks fans from an hour north in that game. And now we go in, and now the pressure's on us. They're a buzzsaw. This guy, Maxey, he had 44 points. He was unstoppable. You know that he's going to have a couple games like that in the series. And we were able to withstand it until we started doing the dumbest shit ever to close out that game. And it's just one of those where I'll just never stop thinking about it. And, especially if we don't find a way to win on Thursday and close out this series. If we lose on Thursday and now it's coming back to the Garden, and everybody is clenching their cheeks at that point. The room's getting real close and you getting real nervous at that point. Brunson has another 40 piece. We got 17 from OG, 18 from Josh Hart. I thought that McBride was fantastic with the 14 points that he added as well. But when it came down to it, at the end of the game, we didn't execute. We stole one in game 2. Well, we just gave it back. And now we are still up 3-2, which is where you want to be. But we have a tough task going into Philly on Thursday and figuring out a way to win that game. So as far as the time of that game, game 6 will be on Thursday. The time is to be determined. I've seen some rumors that the game might not start until 9 Eastern, just because the Bucks won tonight and they beat the Indiana Pacers. So they're going to want to have those 2 games staggered where they're not on at the same time, 2 game 6s. Luckily that series is going to a game 6 as well. So if we are fortunate enough, because that's where we're at now. Can't start talking about like if we are fortunate enough to move on to the next round, at least that team won't be sitting back and resting this entire time. I said Knicks in 5 before the series. I said it nonstop, since then. And, obviously I was incorrect. I am not Nickstradamus, clearly. And this team, we had it, man. We had it. We were right there. All we had to do was just execute the simple things. And we did the exact opposite. That is not what a Tibbs team typically does. That is not what this Knicks team typically does. And they picked a hell of a time to have some of the worst end of game timing and understanding and execution that we've had all season. It's really, really hard to understand how this team gave away this game. And it's one that will be remembered by Knicks fans forever, especially if we don't find a way to win this series and move on to the second round of the Eastern Conference playoffs. I thought that OG played pretty well. I think that OG needs to realize that if he dribbles the ball more than one time in the paint, that it's a strip and it's a jailbreak the other way. OG, I'm going to need you to be a little bit more decisive and a little bit more deliberate when you get into the paint. Once you get into the paint, if he's not taking one dribble and going up to dunk, he needs to turn his back and then, so he's between himself, he is between his man and the ball, and then try to get that little short jump shot in there. But I thought that overall OG played pretty well. I thought that Brunson was fantastic from the floor for most of the game. He was making, impossible shots. He was getting into the paint. He was only 4 of 11 from 3. He continues to shoot the ball below his season average for 3, and the 6 of 9 from the line. He had a chance in overtime when he got the Embiid flagrant foul where he was able to shoot 2 shots and then get the possession, and he missed one, but then he did follow up that with a 3, and then we had the tie game. And then from there, our offense absolutely disappeared. Like I said, I thought that Brunson was way too anxious to shoot the pull-up 3 as opposed to, get Batum moving, get into the paint. I did think in OT that there was one play where he typically would get a foul once he gets in and gets the bump and then goes for the layup attempt, and he did not get that foul call. But you know what? The ref swallowed the whistle in general in OT. There was a couple that Maxey could have said, I typically get that foul call, and he didn't. And I hate all referees. I hate refs. I don't even like dudes who work at Foot Locker because they wear striped shirts. I'm always griping with the refs. I thought the refs did a terrible job officiating, specifically against the Knicks throughout the entire season. And I even saw some clips in this game where, Maxey, when he scores that 4-point play, he clearly travels. He takes a gather step and then 2 more steps. It's he walks. And he takes a gather step and then 3 more steps. I'm sorry. And there was a play where Josh Hart, it seems as if he did save the ball, and they called it out on him. And, we weren't able to challenge and be able to get that one back. And even with those potentially missed calls, in overtime, I don't care. This was not on the refs. This was on the Knicks. This was on us. Refs or not, Tyrese Maxey making unbelievable shots or not, all we had to do was just execute and not do dumb shit. And that's what we did. That's what we did. And, now we go into this next game. And the one thing I will say about this Knicks team that I have seen all season long is we typically, when we do have a bad loss, we respond. And I know that we have a lot of guys that are in that locker room that have been counted out before, that have had reasons to hang their head before. And that's not what they do. That's not our DNA. That's not our makeup. We typically continue to fight. And I expect us to come out somewhat focused. We better come out focused. This going down by 10 in the first quarter shit, that's got to stop. We got to stop that. I'm tired. Come on. What are we doing? Why does it seem like every single game and the beginning of every third quarter, for that matter, we come out and we seem like we're sleepwalking a little bit, and we got to wait until, I don't know, somebody smacks us in the mouth before we can start to get it going. That's got to stop, especially if that Philly crowd finds a way to be somewhat raucous in the Sixers' favor. We can't let them get off to a stop like that, because now it's a runaway train. It's a locomotive. Cannot believe we wasted a game where we defended Embiid as well as we did, and we wasted it. We wasted it. And that's the thing. In the playoffs, you can play great for 47.5 minutes. And guys are going to miss shots. Sometimes guys are going to make mistakes. But you cannot have the mental lapse that Mitch had in that spot. And he's not all to blame. He is surely not all to blame. Josh Hart with the missed free throw. Brunson with some empty early shot possessions in overtime. Brunson with the missed free throw in overtime. Dante DiVincenzo, where are you at, my guy? Where are you at? DiVincenzo had 9 points. He had 1 assist, 4 rebounds. And the guy that we saw, especially when Julius first, went out, that guy's missing in action. That 20-point a game score. I mean, the threes, he's 1 of 7 from 3. When does he ever shoot 1 of 7 from 3? Ever. The guy was fantastic, shooting 40% while making the 3rd most threes in the entire NBA all season long. And it seems like Philly is getting out on him. I honestly think he needs to put the ball on the floor a little bit more. There was at one point where somebody was guarding him like 2 or 3 feet behind the 3-point line and right up on him. I'm like, if you're guarding the NBA and a guy is guarding you like that, you have to be able to dribble around him. Get into the paint, finish for yourself, find a bucket for someone else. Oh, that pass by OG in overtime, where he tried to do like some slick shit to Mitchell, where Mitchell catches the ball. He's behind the backboard. Even if he does catch it, what's he going to do with it right there? I don't get it. It's so hard to understand some of the things that we were doing. And even in that particular play, I thought the ball was given up to OG too easily. Give it to OG. Brunson, go get it right back. Brunson, I need you either scoring or assisting when we're in the nitty-gritty like that and it's the 4th quarter. The ball needs to go through you. As much as we were killing Embiid in the overtime and it's been late in the 4th quarter, the ball was going through him and he was making good decisions. I mean, he did end up, I think that he ended up with like 9 assists. Joel Embiid, 10 assists, triple-double. But he did have the 9 turnovers and we were frustrating him and we were throwing good looks at him. And I'm sorry, but anytime that Joel Embiid plays almost 48 minutes and only scores 19 points and is 7 of 19 from the field, you'll take that all day, every day. And we had every opportunity to execute and close out this game, and we gave it away. And we've put ourselves in a much tougher position where we have to now go into Philly on Thursday and get a win. And if not, we come back to the Garden. I'm pretty sure the game would be Saturday. And now all the pressure is on us. The crowd is full of nervous energy, and so is the entire Knicks nation. And even the play. Listen, let's not get ahead of ourselves, okay? Got to win game 6. This team has shown fight all season. They've continued to, when they're down, get back up, next man up mentality. Should Precious see some more minutes? Honestly, when I look at it, I say to myself, there was not too many times where I was watching the game and I was thinking to myself, wow, Precious, we could use some Precious right now. Both Hartenstein and Mitch, they really did hold their own. But Precious played so well in that last game, there has to be a part of you that thinks to yourself, like, should Precious have gotten a few more minutes here? I don't know. I'm not going to second guess Tibbs. We did only go 7 deep the entire game. I don't think that guys were gassed at the end. I just think that we made some really, really silly mistakes. Tobias Harris had his best game of the series. He had 19 points. He really got it going in the first half. He was a plus 11, which is the second highest plus minus after Joel Embiid's plus 14. And he hit those 2 huge free throws to pretty much ice the game in overtime. I thought that he got going early. He ends up being 3 of 6 from 3, and then Oubre had 14. I thought we did a pretty good job on him. He's 6 of 13. He scores 14 points. And those 2 threes by Campaign killed us. And I think that for some reason, we got to stop daring him to shoot. There was a couple times, there was one he even missed, but I was like, we weren't close. We're not guarding him close enough. We're not taking enough attention to detail on the fact that we got to get out on this guy, and the fact that stop trying to block him up here. You got to get up close to him and block it. Make him drive past you. How often you see Campaign go to the rim and lay a cat up? He almost never does it. So close out on him hard and make him drive past you. Make him make a decision. Make him try to finish in the paint, because I got to see him do it. What I have seen him do is get off that ugly, stupid shot and have it go in. And he made 2 of them tonight, and both of them were at big times where we had a chance to blow this game open. There was a point in the fourth quarter where we had an OG missed 3 and a Deuce missed 3. And either of those, it felt like if that goes in, we kind of start to blow the top off of this. And they were able to secure the rebound and, continue to cut into the small lead that we had built. But we still, with all that being said, with less than a minute to go, if we just don't do the silliest shit you can possibly do, we end the series. And I hope that makes these guys pay some more attention to detail. Maxey ended up with 46. I'm sorry I said 44 before. He was 7 of 12 from 3, including the logo 3 to tie the game with just moments left. I mean, wow. This guy, he really is unbelievable. His ability when he's driving the basket to put up a floater before the shot blocker can get there and have that thing go soft off the glass and drop in. I mean, it's like Brunson's up there, Kyrie is up there. When it comes to that particular shot, he's about as good as just about anybody in the league. He is something else, man. He's so fast. He's a blur. And it seems like when he shoots an open jump shot, that it's always going in. He missed a wide open 3 from the corner at one point, and I couldn't believe it missed. Couldn't believe it. When I saw him that wide open, he was letting it go. I was like, shit, that's going in. And he has a whole lot of other shots that as soon as it leaves his hand, you can tell that it is dead line, on line. And as long as it's not long or short, it's going to drop. And tonight, the vast majority of them dropped, especially the 4-point play, the logo 3, and then he hit another massive 3 in overtime. But we don't even go to overtime if Josh Hart can hit a free throw and Mitchell Robinson cannot commit one of the stupidest fouls that I have ever seen. Tough night. I know these guys are if I feel the way I feel, I can't imagine how these guys feel. There's a chance Tibbs might not sleep between now and game 6. Tibbs right now is just absolutely stewing and thinking about the things he could have done differently, thinking about the coaching that he could have done to tell his players to maybe avoid a particular situation. But at the end of the day, nobody should have to explain to Mitch right there that the one thing you cannot do is foul. And in this next game, we're going to need some more contributions. We're going to need Josh Hart to hit a couple threes. We're going to need OG to, it's a make or miss league. And there's some times where, like I said, in that fourth quarter, where we had time to hit a 3 and we didn't hit it. And maybe the game isn't so close at the end, but at the end of the day, I do not think that we're going to just blow them out of the water. I thought this was our chance to get up early. And then maybe this team, because of what happened last game, because of how the series is gone, because it's 3-1, now their mental fortitude is tested and they kind of just give up. I thought that was a possibility, but instead we go down by 9 and score a total of 17 points in the first quarter. We have to have better starts. We need contributions from other people other than Brunson. We need Brunson to play within himself in the waning moments, and it doesn't matter how many times you make the play, because he made a lot of plays down the stretch of the fourth, and he made a lot of plays in overtime in this game. But when you lose, everybody remembers the plays that you didn't make. And we need our guys to be smart and to understand time and situation and not just give the game away. We will see on Thursday if the Knicks have what it takes to be able to close out this series and avoid a game 7 in Madison Square Garden. Tough L tonight. Thanks for being with me. Please hit that like, hit that subscribe, and I will see you Thursday. Peace.